attach a water energy to Drifloon, and
I play Shadow Triad, put Luxray in defense mode, and attack with Jack Frost.
This ain't looking too good, Finn.
So it probably doesn't come as a surprise to you that me and Austin like movies that we care about. And for the most part, we've decided that we care about those movies because the characters, we care about them. And Rise of the Guardians is one of those. We felt that the characters were really well developed and that we were convinced in their struggles and conflicts. So this is about that.
Rise of the Guardians ropes us in early on with the ever-present and driving force of conflict. In the opening scene, we understand Jack's struggle, his need for purpose, and his inability to connect with other people. As well, in the next scene, we get the idea of a strong external conflict brewing at the North Pole. When that force comes to a full, we see Pitch at the Tooth Palace, and then we realize that the conflict he presents is in parallel with Jack's. Pitch wants to be believed in, but the ways that he wants to go about it are in direct conflict with Jack's morals. So as Jack struggles for purpose, he also has to battle against Pitch, which then eventually brings his internal struggle to the point where Jack doesn't even believe in himself anymore. That's how you put weight into a conflict. You have a character who's struggling with the idea of purpose, and then at their lowest of lows, that character doesn't even believe in themselves. Jack's been hurt, son. He's been hurt so good. As well, on a mechanical level, the conflict just keeps building. We never see our characters repeating an action to fight against Pitch. Everything they do has to be more than the last. We as the audience will recognize effort and struggle and behaviors and all that kind of stuff. And if we start to see our characters repeating things that they've already done unsuccessfully, we're going to get bored with it. But Rise of the Guardians doesn't do that, so it's good.
Jack is a solid and appealing character. From the very start of the film, we know his conflicts, we know his struggles, and they're really relatable and deep conflicts and struggles. The existential fears and questions of the whys in life are deep and weighty realities that we all experience. So when he's talking to the moon and says, "What am I doing wrong? Why am I here?" We're like, I feel you, bro. And because we can relate to him, we like him and we're invested in his struggles throughout the rest of the film. And furthermore, the movie's about us learning about who he is with him, which lends itself to the audience to invest in him. On top of that, the Guardians also have a realness and depth that is really engaging and appealing. And this fantastic roundtable that you should watch right now. Just watch it. Director Peter Ramsey talks about their decision to do a more serious take of these characters, which I think was clutch. It made them a lot more endearing than just some bubbly, simple character. These characters have such a deep and weighty passion for what they do, creating and protecting hope, wonder, and dreams in children. My favorite scene in the movie is when North brings Jack into his office. Like, he's so passionate about what his purpose is, what his center is about creating and protecting wonder in children. It almost gets a little uncomfortable because he's expecting so much out of Jack that at that point Jack doesn't even know about himself. As well, the interplay of their personalities inherently reveals to us more about them. Many explanations of the success of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic really focuses on the appeal of the characters. It's through the very difference in their personalities that develop each other. For example, how Applejack is all rough and tumble and Rarity is all prissy and proper. By their personalities alone, we get conflict that causes us to learn more about each of them. In the same way, all of the Guardians and Jack have really distinguishable personalities that really kind of highlight each other's differences and inherently tell us more about the other one. Bunny, North, and Jack are all more outspoken characters and have a good amount of competitiveness. So when Bunny and Jack bring up the Blizzard of '68, we see in this moment that Bunny is really stubborn and like holds on to grudges, and Jack is more of a free, like, who cares, he could care less about Bunny's feelings kind of character. As well, Tooth and Sandy are more kind of subdued characters and act as more like mediators to the brash actions of the other three. Like when Bunny tells Jack, people believe in the Easter Bunny, it's Tooth who like chimes in like Bunny, and then you see Sandy kind of just yank on North's coat, be like, you need to, you know, intervene. These are all ways we learn about all the other characters just through how they interact with each other. And each of the Guardians' personalities really help develop and bring out appealing personalities within Jack. North's passion and leadership role really forces Jack to really search deep and figure out what his center is. Bunny's constant abuse to Jack really kind of pushes him to take the job more seriously because there's a lot on the line. And Tooth really highlights kind of Jack's compassion for children. Sandy, he just kind of dies. But I mean, as the scene is like, you wanted this, Tooth? Child, please, you might as well kiss the baby. And because the characters are appealing and well developed, we care. We care about them, we care about their conflicts, and we want them to succeed. So therefore, Is good.
There's 2 points of convenience in the story that we want to talk about. The first is right after Pitch kills Sandman and Jack has his super powerful ice attack. It sort of comes out of nowhere. What's okay with this is, though, if you relate it to a movie where the main character gets a super powerful attack at the end of the film, where it is the final boss battle and they use that attack to win. That feels cheap. Kind of like in Pacific Rim when that guy gets that sword out of nowhere. Like, why wasn't he using that the whole time? In the scene, we've already lost, like, Sandman's dead, so even though it helps them escape, we're still at an emotional low. But because Jack gets this super powerful attack and all it really does for them is buys them time, it feels okay. Later on in the film, when Jack tries to use his power again, we see that Pitch has gotten stronger, so even though he sort of got these superpowers out of nowhere, they don't even really help in the final conflict. That's why it feels fine. It doesn't necessarily feel convenient. The second point we want to talk about is after he gets his memories back, he just sort of fuses his staff back together, and we as the audience sit there and look at that and we're like, okay, why didn't we do that before? The intention is that Jack has just had a major character revelation about himself. He knows he had a family, he had a sister, he saved her, and that he is in fact supposed to be a guardian. The problem we had with the way they originally did it was that there was too much time between Jack having these character revelations and then him putting the staff back together. So we no longer relate the staff and his revelations as one thing, they sort of happen disjointedly. Me and Adam had discussed the idea of having the staff sort of magically put itself back together, or maybe the moon interfering and causing the staff to be put back together. It would all be happening at the same time Jack is having these character revelations about himself, that he had a family and that he is supposed to be a guardian. And in that moment where he says to himself, I am a guardian, we would see the staff be put back together, and it would be more symbolic that, yes, the reason he is put here is that he's supposed to be a guardian, and that the reason he has the staff is that he's a guardian. So even though it'd be mystical, magical, and slightly convenient, we would relate them together as happening as one singular thing. It would feel earned.
Another part of the film that we felt was really close to being there but just barely missed its mark was the climax of the film. We felt everything was set up really well. It's just, there was something missing. We felt like it just needed a scene or two or a beat or two more to just really hit us with some good impact of this big climax that's going on. So I love the whole build up to the scene, like Jack finding what his center is, then we start getting all the kids, like the whole kind of pace changes until they're face to face with Pitch and he's like, who's gonna protect you? And then all the kids kind of just come forward one by one and say, I will. And then the whole rain of mares just rain down on Jamie. He's like, I'm just not afraid of you. Right here is when it starts getting really messy, because right when Jamie touches all the mares, they immediately turn into gold sand and immediately become non-threatening. And then pretty much right after that, it all resurrects Sandy, and we're just like, woohoo, what? So I think what's supposed to be going on here is when Jamie says, I'm just not afraid of you, like there, that's the climax, because now when he touches these nightmares, they don't scare him anymore. He's turning them into dreams, and then now that all of these kids are dreaming, that resurrects Sandy at his center, which is dreams. But the problem is I think there's a couple things here that kind of muddle up those ideas and really kind of make them feel and come off cheap. First, that the nightmares really immediately turned into gold sand. They should have gave us more of a struggle to kind of feel that. Like, it was just like, bam, gold sand. There wasn't really any kind of build up to that. There should have been just a beat or two more to really kind of feel that resolution. I don't know, say when the mares start raining down on Jamie, they start going through him. Like when the kids go through the Guardians, it would have shown that he's not afraid of them anymore. And then, I don't know, when the ones come out of him through the back, maybe they turn into the butterflies and fish and, you know, dinosaurs and whatnot. That would have shown that he's turning these into dreams, which relates to my next point. We immediately relate the golden sand to Sandy. So when the nightmares turn into floating sand, we're like, oh man, here comes the Sandman. And we don't get the middleman that it's the kid's dreams that resurrect Sandy. He just kind of shows up. They even have this scene right before the Sandman comes back where Jamie tells all his friends, I know what to do. But they never show us what it is he knows what to do, which makes me wonder, I wonder if there's a scene that was cut there. And if there was, I'm sure that scene was showing that the kids were running around turning all these nightmares into dreams, and then these dreams are what's resurrecting Sandy. If they would have just had a couple more scenes in there really building all these ideas that the kids' dreams are what's resurrecting Sandy, then I feel like the payoff would have been a lot more fulfilling. All that aside, while watching this movie, I felt like this sized Adam sneaking downstairs to see if Santa came. I think it has really great themes that are really driven through emotional characters. And therefore I liked it. Come at me, bro. I don't know how many of you keep track of sort of the news and flow of the animation industry, but after this movie flopped, DreamWorks let go a third of their staff because they decided to downsize to only doing like 2 movies a year instead of 3, which is a pretty common reality in the animation industry, but it just sucks that it was because of a really solid film. Well, Madagascar 3 is pulling in all the profits. Personally, for me, I just think it sends a really bad message to the guys in the suits. My speculation is that it's all in the marketing. It was marketed as an animated holiday film. That was a terrible idea. We're done with holiday films marketed towards kids. We don't want to see Santa Buddies, Santa Claus 3, Arthur Christmas. For the record, we have not seen any of these movies. They could, in fact, be great films. But the point is, we're done with these sort of simplistic stories that are just for the holiday money. And that's what's a bummer about Rise of the Guardians, is I don't feel like it was a holiday film. Sure, it had all the holiday icons in it, but the story was about purpose and meaning. It wasn't about cheer and whatever. They should have like released it in the summer. I know nothing about no marketing. I'm just saying, I like Rise of the Guardians. I'm gonna watch that movie again. I'm not watching Madagascar 3 again. So what did you guys think? A lot of you guys last week said that you couldn't wait for us to tear this movie apart. I'm sorry we didn't. Really. But we'd really like to know why you didn't like the film, so let us know in the comments. And the next movie we're gonna do is the Lego Movie. Did you see at the beginning? Legos? It was like foreshadowing or something. Can't even talk. Join us next time. We have social media.
Then I'm good.